What's going on, my YouTube family? Welcome back, everybody. Thank you guys so much for all the support in the last video. All my new faces, welcome to the channel. I am that wood guy, and I can't thank you all enough for all the comments, all the good comments in there, and all the mixed opinions, but that's what it's all about, my friends, creating firewood, leaning on one another for opinions and advice, and there's no reason to get nasty about it, so everybody
be good and kind.
Thank you so much for all of that support. We are out here, once again, can't call it the sawmill shed because Woody is out in another location. We are in the equipment shed, and I have right behind me the D-Liar. There it is. I have the one and only device that you guys have been waiting for. This is what it is, my friends. If I sell green firewood,
green firewood,
and if I am just selling crappy wood to my customers. We're out here on another rainy fall day. It is soaking out. Woodlot's a mess. The wood is soaked in log form. I also have some split wood from this year that have been covered with a tarp. They're stored up on a piece of wood. So that's been high and dry out in the environments and elements, which I want to show you guys up here in Western New York along the lakeshore where you can see my breath and just moisture is abundant, okay? It's very abundant up here. And you guys are about to see how a moisture meter is going to show you guys how, whether it's split or it's in log form right now, moisture meters are not for firewood. And I know this is going to be a very, very mixed, heated topic. And maybe for a lot of you it works, but for some of you, like me, they don't work. And being a fine wood worker for 15 years, I do know the difference between dry wood and wet wood. Now, I know you guys are going to beg to differ. I'm just selling wet green wood to everybody. That's right. And everybody's just complaining that they can never get their fire started with a Bic lighter that I sell, whether it is green, whether it is ready to burn. And again, like I said, who has, you know, massive amount of storage to be able to store all this wood in a covered area, all high and dry? Maybe a lot of operations have that, but big producers, you know, I think it's a struggle with us to be able to have all this storage. So it is a real money cruncher to be able to come up with something to cover all your firewood and keep it stored nice, high and dry. For me, it has worked out processing logs to order and being a lot of ash and a lot of other woods that have low moisture content to begin with. That is what's also helped out as well. Now, don't get me wrong, my friends. I've seen also in the comments you guys talking about like red oak and some of the other species of woods that are very high moisture content, and you're absolutely right. These woods cannot be just, you know, cut off of the stem and processed and put into the trailer and expect to be started with a Bic lighter. Who wants to buy a bunch of wet wood, green wood with creosote that is built up in your chimneys and causes a chimney fire? That is something that I very much want to pay attention to and not sell to my customers to cause any sort of hazard whatsoever. I think a lot of people get confused with understanding wet wood from dry wood, and also more of just how hard it is to keep dry wood in such a wet environment. And when you start to get to a scale of moving a lot of split firewood at a time, you need to keep your customers happy with producing a very presentable visual product, and also a dry product as well that is a category of premium firewood. Shout out to our farmers. Thank you guys so much for your hard grinding work so that we can sit at our tables and enjoy food. And I think a lot of people get confused with, you know, having to keep your split firewood opened up for 6 months or a year into a pile, and then that's able to be sold for a dry, you know, for a customer who's ready to burn. What is seasoned firewood? Kiln dried firewood supposed to be at, and it's, I guess, something supposedly under 20%. So some of the logs behind me, this pile here, and then we're gonna go over to some of them split bundles that have been covered, stored up high off the ground, and show you guys what that reads. All right, here's our first log pile, my friends. Stick it into an end of ash here. 22. Another stick of ash. 23. Now guys, I know it's been sitting out here in the rain. We just had that torrential rain. Logs have been setting out. You're probably wondering why. Oh, that's a perfect time to test, you know, with a moisture meter, that wood guy, when it's just been torrential downpouring. But this is my whole point, is kiln dried firewood is supposedly 20%. I'm off a couple percent here with these logs sitting in log form. I know I'm checking the ends. In the centers, it's gonna read different. We're gonna check over them, the split wood, when I work my way over there to show you guys just how close this is, to be honest, and how leaving these logs in log form just works out better for me. 30. Let's check out these cherries that have been sitting here for a while. 26. Small one. 30. Another wonderful rainfall coming down. Let's go check over some of that bundle wood that's been covered with a tarp. It's been lifted up off the ground. This stuff has been split for, man, it's been a few months. This stuff has been opened up. Just to give you guys kind of a variation of, you know, we're talking about maybe 6% difference from split wood to log form. And I want to explain something to you guys after this too. It's underneath the tarp. This stuff's staying pretty dry. It's been underneath here. You can see the ends are nice and dry. It's been split open for a while. It's been wrapped. It's up off of the ground on a piece of scrap slab wood. This would be very much stored like, you know, a face cord or your stacked firewood. Some people are able to keep it indoors, but, you know, not everybody has that option. So let's give a relative measure that this wood is stored outside typically most of the time. And if I stored all this split wood outside, I'd be struggling with being able to even keep a tarp over 1,000 face cord. And then I'd have to load this wood into the trailer with a machine. And let's look at it around here. That would just be beautiful for the wood. I think that would just be excellent. Let's scrape up some, you know, garden box material and mud and dirt and stones and leaves and present it to our customers. Okay, here we go. This is some maple 23, 25, 26, 29. This stuff's been split for a while, guys. Just to give you a variation of, you know, how much, oh, that's just a huge difference between split and then logs. I'm certainly not going to argue that split wood dries faster. And of course, wouldn't be the ultimate situation to be able to present to our customers, having it already split, having an Amazon warehouse where you just call, we pull the stuff out from our warehouse and ship it to you in a one size, it all ships, it fits box. Comes right to your door, nice and high and dry, but not everybody has a dry Arizona desert environment. We're dealing with logging, firewood, production. Things get messy. You firewooders out there know what I'm talking about. The manual moving stuff around even and equipment tromping around disrupts the ground. You can't produce quantities of firewood without disrupting the ground. All right, so you guys can see, I mean, I took this thing out from my wood shop, my custom wood shop that I do custom woodworking in, where, if anything, that's where something like this is used. But let me explain to something to you guys about a piece of wood in general. Yeah, none of this is actual, you know, the written law and firewood and how it dries and the way it works. My personal opinions over working with wood over the years, which, you know, a lot of you are going to think that I'm a fool, but that's fine, you know what I mean? That's what it's all about. Share our advice and opinions and take what you want from it and leave the rest. Guys, here is a piece of, you know, a kiln-dried pine that's been sitting out in the saw shed here. One side was laying on the ground, which was dry, though, in here in the saw shed. The other side's been laying up. just to give you guys a comparison, here's the dry side. We're measuring 14. Here's the wet side. We're measuring 25. Guys, you know, wood, depending on the thickness, and especially split wood, because it is, you know, big blocky pieces, it's like a thick lasagna that you throw into the oven, and then you hit the de-thaw for a minute. The outside's thawing, the inside's still frozen. It's very much like wood. Wood has a structure, cellulose structure like that, that's built. And it does dry, obviously, quicker being in split form. But it also soaks up water just as fast, being opened up now into split form. So you have a sponge here that one side is clearly drying, the other side was laying down, maybe laying up in the rain. It's going to check higher moisture content. Then the other side that's laying down, it's a lower moisture content. So you lay this firewood, this all the split wood that's been laying out in the environment, exposed in the rain, causing, you know, it's gonna mushrooms growing on it. It's all damp and all wet. Now you bring it to your customers. You know, people are looking at it like, where was this stored? Underneath your shed in a, you know, a dirt hole, and you dug it up? Guys, just my opinions over the years of playing with wood. Nothing like this is the written law. I know this is probably going to be a pretty heated topic, but in my opinion, moisture meters are just really not for firewood. They give you a rough gauge. That's all it is. It's like, you know, taking a shot in the dark of a thick lasagna, putting it in a minute, de-thawing in the oven, and then hoping that the center is nice and cooked. Oh, having these logs set around that are up off the ground, stored in log form, you get rains like this. It's like a shell. It's coated right now. It's protecting the internals, which is still damp. Don't get me wrong. We checked some of them logs. They are high percentage. But guys, kiln-dried firewood is supposedly 20% and under. Some of them logs are 24, 25. Even though it was 30 out here in the pouring rain, that's still pretty amazing that it was only 10% off in some of the high ends. And then you go over to the split wood, and it was checking really, I mean, the same as some of the other logs. So it was stored underneath a tarp and up off of the ground. And guys, it was barely even a face cord in bundles that I had covered with a tarp that I was able to keep dry. Now, I can't do that with 1,000 face cord. So, you know, we are firewood producers. We're not firewood seasoners. There's a spectrum of, you're right, producing premium firewood, that the category is dried, seasoned firewood. But, you know, guys, up here in Western New York, seasoned, dried firewood. And then when you're buying in the fall time, winter time, snow, freezing rain, heavy rains, moisture content is way up. This is really a hard time to keep seasoned, dried firewood. That's just my opinion, my friends, on do I sell green firewood to my customers. It's by far not green firewood, guys. This wood is ready to go. I tell them it's ready to burn by the time they're ready to burn it, like a lot of I've seen other comments say. And when you're also buying it in this time of year, I tell people that you can't expect to start this stuff with a lighter, but it's not fresh cut off of the stump, or I'm pruning off the green leaves to sell it to you guys and get it into your stove. That's not what's happening here, my friends. This wood is ready to burn, and this is how I store it. This is how I also be able to produce 1,000 face cord without having it stored in split form around the wood lot, and then have mushrooms growing on it. Dark, moldy, wet. Oh yeah, that's great. I love you guys. That wood guy here, I appreciate all your support. Some of you probably think that wood idiot, but you know what? That's all right. I love you guys too. And the thumbs down matters just as much as the thumbs up. Thank you so much, my friends. Hope everybody's having a great day. We'll see you guys on the next one. Maybe a haircut in the future, maybe not. Who knows? That's the joy of having opinions. Isn't that great? Red, white, blue vehicles you can have. You know what I mean? You can choose these colors at the dealership, and it's amazing. I love you guys. Take it easy, everybody. See you on the next one. See you, everybody.
Where's your tire? Where's your tire? What you got?